Hi guys, Ashley here. Today I'm bringing you one extremely phenomenal guest, and he is Dr. Leonard Liu. He spent the past 40 years in the systems industry, and he was in fact developing innovative computing technologies, turning them into successful businesses. He has played a key roles in the development of the PC, enterprise software, and semiconductors industry here in Asia. But he has in fact started his career back in the US. He has graduated from a Taiwan university and then got a PhD from Princeton. He served on many boards from ACA Group. He also has been a COO of the Camden's design system. He's been working as a chairman of the Walker Interactive Systems and also the president of ACA Group, a Taiwanese multinational software and electronics corporation. Right now, Leonard runs his other venture, which is called Augmentum, that helps enterprises to go through digital transformation in China. Leonard, it's such an honor to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
I would like to start this fireside chat with a few questions. First of all, a lot of people outside of China are looking at this huge leapfrog in Chinese technology in the past 30 years, and they're asking themselves, so why is China really leapfrogging? There are many reasons, but what are the major ones? And what will come next?
For me, it's very, very clear. China's name is 中国. 中国 means we, China, is the country in the center of the world, bar none. Namely, China has always had a long history of being in the center of the world. And with this accumulation, many innovations, thousands of years ago, there's no surprise that in the last 30 years or so, China is regaining its position in some of the sectors of technology in the world. There's no surprise at all, because the most important asset in innovation is people. And the people, because of the genes, does pass on and on and on, as we know by now, through science. Namely, there's no surprise at all to me. Why suddenly in the last 30 years? I think that's the question behind the question. So if I may try to answer that question, that's because the sleeping tiger has been sleeping since the Industrial Revolution. So China has been kind of sleeping for maybe 300 years or maybe 400 years, whatever you want to count. However, with the opening up of China, since Deng Xiaoping going south, connecting to Hong Kong, opening up Shenzhen with a special area. Even Chinese cannot enter Shenzhen for a long time, because China wants to make sure that Shenzhen next to Hong Kong has a way to learn and grow and extend. And that's the beginning. 30 years is a very short period of time. It's like a blink of an eye. That's why people are surprised, and rightly so. However, I'm not surprised at all. I think this is only the beginning.
So what will the future look like?
I think the future, the world has to get used to the fact, from a world after the Second World War, United States is the only master chef in the kitchen, bar none. But the world has to get used to the fact there are two master chefs in the kitchen. And the two master chefs have different beliefs on how to cook the best dish. And tastes very different, look very different, including the chopstick, the knives and the forks. It's so different, right? So the world has to get used to that. There are two master chefs. This two master chef has to, needs to, and will cooperate with each other as the central kitchen for the world, so the world will not go hungry. I know the two master chefs will find a way.
Oh, this is very
because
beautiful.
We do not want the world to go hungry.
This is beautiful, a beautiful vision indeed. And when it comes to, Chinese companies building, this new digital reality in the country, obviously there's Alibaba, there's Tencent, there's Meituan Dianping, there's many, many others, hardware, software, obviously directed by the big government vision that is communicated on a regular basis. What do you think are the major problems these big tech companies are trying to solve right now? So when smaller companies in China and across the world are trying to digitalize as their main focus, so what are these already digital companies that are running this digitalization for others trying to solve right now?
That's a very good question, actually. This has been going on for decades. It's just the names changed. We have always had this challenge. IBM used to own 70% of the digital world when I was in IBM. 70% of all the IT. Almost no large companies in the world, anywhere, does not use IBM systems. This is not new. We have always understood, we, the world, the collective we, have always understand. Many of the new innovations, creations, always comes from the startups. Always. This has always been since the beginning of digitalization. No exception. For example, Microsoft wasn't even there when IBM was dominating the world. By the way, Facebook wasn't there when Microsoft was dominating the world. By the way, many of the digital giants in China was not there when the new generation, the digital companies, came up. So therefore, as we look at the world and extending the time and the space, we will find out the universe has always been here for zillions of years. Earth is only a little baby. Human never existed. So there is a way the universe evolves. And it looks very calm when we look up and see the moon or even the sun. But there are many, 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 many undercurrents that's going on. However, the universe has always found a way to continue to go forward for another zillions of years. So this is a long way for me to answer your question.
It is a beautiful way.
I'm very, very optimistic. I'm very, very optimistic about the future of the digital giants in China. Because they are still babies. Babies has infinite energy, has infinite way of repairing themselves. Not like an old person. So to follow up on your question, not only China technology is leapfrogging in the last 30 years. This is only the beginning. Because these are all babies. They're very, very energetic, fearless, trying new things. This is not because some government is directing all this. But the government provides environments and policies, financial, tax things, legal, such as IP. So all these tech giants in China, they're all babies. Actually, they're less than 30 years. Some of them are 20 years. So therefore, they are full of energy. They are fearless. And if they fell down, they can jump up immediately, not like an old company. Of course, all these babies suddenly came up in China. In addition to what we talked about, the reasons, it's because the current government, the new China, is very dedicated to make sure that China will be leaders in certain sectors of technology. Of course, that's very, very helpful and important because the government's role is to provide the right environment for babies to grow up. Whether it's tax, whether it's legal, whether it's IP protection, whether it is trying to get universities work together with companies and with the people, all comes together. So I'm very confident that the new baby giants, this is only the beginning, actually.
That's beautiful. And the baby giants are definitely taking up a variety of sectors. And right now, in fact, not only in China, but are also going outside of the country to find new playgrounds, which is very exciting to watch and very refreshing. Look at what's happening in Africa, in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
So do you think also that the tech giants right now, the ones that are babies, are they ready to expand to, Southeast Asia, most dominantly probably Africa as well? Are the babies ready to go out, or they need to grow a bit stronger before they can really offer something to the outside of markets? Your personal opinion.
The babies themselves definitely think they are ready because they are fearless. They don't know any better. That's why they're fearless. However, history tells us when one expands from one country to another country, one region to another region, one continent to another continent, the major challenge is about organization, about people, and about culture. Most importantly, it's about the value system. It's about the value system. This is not any technology company babies or old ones can address and solve by themselves. This needs the two master chefs in the kitchen. Number one, to understand and respect each other's dishes and the cooking, even though it's very different. Number two is they need to learn from each other, build on top of each other, which is happening in terms of cooking rapidly. It's like Shanghai in the last 20 years. I still remember, I don't even want to talk about the food I used to have in Shanghai, unless it's Shanghainese food. Okay? But right now, any kind of food, French, Italian, Chinese, whatever it is, Shanghainese, that is happening. However, right now, the specific question you're asking me, it's very clear that China is following the strategy of starting with the village and surrounding the city, and then choke the city to death, which is a proven strategy by the world and by China for centuries. So we're following that. We focus on Southeast Asia, we focus on Africa, we focus on even Central South America. Of course, we don't forget about Korea and Japan, our strong neighbors. And they're not villages, but they are neighbors. So we need to learn how to live with our neighbors, how to provide value to Africa, to Southeast Asia. And we're also trying to provide value to the United States and to Europe, such as 5G.
And let's talk about 5G. Very interesting topic.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm trying to make sure you're interested to invite me again to talk to you.
I would be delighted.
Thank you. Thank you. So, to answer your question, the baby technology companies, digital companies in China, which are giants now, they're baby giants. They are ready. They're absolutely ready. They have been doing this already. They're happy with some success. For example, if you go to Malaysia, you find out they use WeChat all the time, just like we do here. Of course, it has something to do with the, actually, that's not part of the Chinese people. But the Chinese people for centuries has been trying to make contributions and to grow and live in different countries in the world. And that is another reason why it'll be a little bit easier for our baby giants to go and conquer the world. However, we do not misunderstand or underestimate the challenges, because the challenge is about people. It's challenges about organization. Challenges about culture. Most importantly, challenges about the value system, the central value system. The central value system. And it's not just about money. And it's not just about money. Let me rest my case.
Makes a lot of sense. So the future is definitely very exciting for them. And as you said, babies believe they can go and conquer the world, and they are ready right now in 2021. But of course,
I think they will. And I think they will. It just takes a little bit longer.
A bit longer than they thought, yeah?
Grow up. They have to go through the teenage era, okay?
That's beautiful. So instead of 2 years, maybe 4 years. At China speed, everything happens very fast. Talking about the speed and what you mentioned a bit earlier about 5G, let's talk about that. It wasn't originally on my question list, but I think it's extremely interesting. So 5G, is coming to China. China right now has the best coverage in the world. There's a couple of cities that have 100% coverage. A lot of young people are converting into 5G, not only with iPhones and expensive phone brands, but also go for local phone manufacturers. And essentially, this is becoming rather, rather normal for China to go 5G. And I believe already a year ago, China government, together with China Telecom and a couple of tech giants, started working and thinking, envisioning how would 6G look like. And for a lot of countries where they are barely on 4G, this is again a huge surprise. How can somebody just launch 5G and already think about 6G? So I would be very interested in your take about 5G in China right now. And in fact, how will it transform the way people live, work, and interact with digital devices in China and the world?
5G is one of the fundamental technologies that will fundamentally change the world. So it's not just a communications, because we've come from 5G, 4G, 3G, 2G, 1G, whatever the thing is, right? And it have always helped the world. But at this level, communications technology, this is a fundamental breakthrough because it almost approaches almost zero in terms of lag time. So that means you can communicate with anybody, anywhere, just like it's next door. The second one is the bandwidth. And the bandwidth is so wide, you can do anything you want. Furthermore, with the internet that is here already, is part of our life, combined, only our imagination can stop what is possible. The only challenge is that actually there are not too many people can figure out real application really needs 5G and are willing to pay for it. So therefore, it's very, very exciting. It's a big opportunity for everyone around the world to find how to use 5G. That's good. By the way, there's plenty already to start with. But the opportunity is infinite. It's one of the biggest breakthroughs. Because in this new digital world, everybody can interact with everyone, anywhere on earth, at any time. And do whatever you want to do, just like everyone is next door in the same room. So let us imagine. It'll take a while. As I said, I'm looking forward to another session with you to imagine together. That's why I did not go on after that.
A beautiful world of true integration between the physical and the digital, I believe. And 6G probably is going to be something that we can't even imagine right now, when holograms can appear and truly, Star Trek kind of reality might be to some extent realized. But 5G, as I was mentioning a bit earlier today before we started the interview, I am on the 5G already, and the coverage is not great yet, but it is a lot faster. So definitely very, very promising. Moving on, let's talk about what are some of the things, in your opinion, that people outside of China get most often wrong about China's technology ambitions or the way China tech world works? What are some of the biggest misconceptions in your view?
Well, technology inherently cuts both ways, good and bad. However, the way the world has been working, the bad things seem to spread faster than the good things. And the bad things seems to form a habit much faster than good things. That's a universal law. We must be aware of that. So as we have been saying, so excited about the technology, especially about how fast technology has been advancing. By the way, it's not just in China. Technology in the world has been advancing in a lightning speed. What has happened in the last 10 years is more than hundreds of years, thousands of years that has happened. This happens not only in China, it's in the world. Let's be very clear about it. So, people should be afraid of the technology anyway, including China. The challenge really is for people who really understands technology, and I'm one of them, and one of few of them. We have the responsibility to make sure that technology is used for the good of the people, of the society, and for the countries around the world. Not just for the rich people, not just for the rich country only. That's our responsibility. Sometimes we forget. Because our life is too comfortable.
Beautiful. And in fact, there are, I think, definitely in the past maybe 5 to 10 years, there are more and more self-governing councils where technology, I would say, gurus, professionals, people that, as you said, really understand what is going on, are coming together to talk and shape and self-regulate in some ways, right? And I believe that, let's say 20 years ago, nothing like that existed. Everybody was in to compete. Everybody was in for the, money expansion, etc. And the government was totally clueless how to come in and regulate and support and guide. But right now, the rise of consciousness, very often in this entrepreneurship circle, broader circle, global, is, as in this book, Factfulness, it's not great, so it's bad, but it's better. Okay, so it's definitely getting better and better. I've got another question then in a completely different area, which is about leading teams. So you have led teams in the US, and you have also led big teams, in Taiwan and also mainland China. What do you feel are the differences when it comes to leadership in these two completely different countries and cultures, and what can we learn from each other?
That's a very, very good question, actually. That is one I always think about it. How can I do better? Now, I do have a lot of experience in leading teams in China, in Taiwan, in the United States, but also in Japan, in France, in Germany, in the UK, in Malaysia, you name it. That is, I'm one of those people actually have lived through the challenge that we all face. The difference in building a team, again, in a different country, different people, different value system, is that we have to have a very clear value system. If the value system is not clear, in my case, it's always try to provide positive value. That's harder in the sense that people tend to, as I said already, I'm not going to repeat. However, with a common value and goal, if that value and goal is high enough, this is like many mountains, high mountains. In order to be able to see what's going on, how you're going to help, you have to rise above the height of all those mountain tops. And if you are in the sky, very, very, very high up, you can see above the earth very clearly. And you'll be able to see the beauty and good things about earth. Versus being fight every day, life and death, for hundreds of years. So therefore, I always start with the culture and the value system when I start building a team. I always have something that's win-win for everyone, including my team. Win-win is not about how to share all the profit. Win-win is about when one is in trouble, we will help each other. I know I haven't answered your question. Now, hopefully, I'm trying to make a point. That is, the question you're asking, you have to rise to a certain level of height to begin even see the picture. But you have to start with defining a value that's win-win for everyone on earth, not only just for your team. Definitely not just for yourself. And then all those kind of things is very philosophical. So when one builds a team, it takes time. I came back to China in 2003, and I settled in Shanghai. As you know, Peggy actually came and joined me in about 2004, 1 year later. And during those a few years, Peggy lives in Shanghai. My eldest son, Jesse, lived in Shanghai. Jiang Lu today still lives in Shanghai. I have 6 children, grandchildren. So I'm one who believes in order to build a team with the right value, one needs to lead with it. So the value system, the culture that I have used to build many different teams in different countries in the world, Europe, North America, Greater China, Southeast Asia, including Japan. I actually have been using the same value system, the same culture. Namely, that's what I do myself. And that's the only way to do it.
If you haven't written a philosophical book yet, Leonard, I will be the first to purchase that creative work of art. Your answers embody the wisdom, the story, and the beautiful presentation. It's absolutely phenomenal. This is one of my favorite interviews, I must say. Incredible. Moving on, I would like to talk about your current venture, which is Augmentum. So Augmentum creates products, consults, and also performs software services for enterprises that are going through digital transformation. So how exactly do you support companies in mainland China going through this digital transformation right now?
This digital transformation, I've been doing it for, I actually don't remember, it's 50 years or 60, it must be about 55 years, almost 60 years. Well, I'm 80 years old. So now, to answer your question, the way I have always been doing this is I start with my team after build. In order to build a team in China, starting in 2003, if we just think back at that time, digitization in China is very, very, very rudimentary. So therefore, I've personally come and lived in Shanghai and opened a school called Augmentum. And that's not a school, but it is a school. It's a university. It's called Augmentum University. Really. Because what I want to do is to, there are so many bright, hardworking young people in China. They are not fortunate enough, like me, to have a chance to go to Taiwan and go to the United States, blah, 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 blah. So I need to bring the opportunity and the environment to China, to the people who do not have the opportunity to go overseas. So therefore today, almost 20 years later, in Augmentum today, in China, except for me, because I'm American, my passport is American, but you can tell my heart is both Chinese and American. So therefore, today, every single person in Augmentum in China has never studied overseas, has never worked overseas. Because I want to give this group of Chinese young people an opportunity to learn the best practice in digitization. So that's number one. Number two is I start with the companies, big companies in the United States, in the world. Starting with the high technology companies. At that time, it's like Microsoft, like Intel, and so forth and so on, Motorola, SAP, and so forth and so on. But we managed to convince those leading companies. You notice I did not mention the baby Chinese giants today because they don't exist at that time. If they exist, they were little babies. So I talked to those companies and I convinced them to let them, my team in China, to learn how to build world-class digital products plus service, one at a time. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I can only tell you that in the first 5 years of Augmentum's journey, 100% of our business comes from global companies outside of China that is let my team to build global products for them. It's a product. That's why my team has the opportunity to learn the best practice of how to do digital transformation. The first 5 years. The second stage, they used to go and find different micro verticals, as I call them, all right? Find the leaders in those sectors. It could be retail, in food and beverage. It could be a lifestyle sports goods company. They're all #1 in the world, bar none. It could be a place that families go and enjoy themselves, such as the one in Shanghai. You know this, I don't mention the name, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. Okay?
Where magic comes from.
Yes. Because they are global leaders. But they're no longer high technology companies only. I want to make sure my team has a chance to learn. Another company, I think I can mention the name. Like I can mention Leonard, right? Leonard. I got permission to mention their name. Right? So with those kind of leaders in the different sectors, then my team have a chance to learn how to provide value, whatever it is. At the same time, we're trying to say, okay, what we have learned, how can we help? How can we help? That's Augmentum's purpose of existence. There are so many companies in China, in different cities, of different size. They really need help to cross this digital chasm, because the technology is progressing so fast. Furthermore, the big baby tech giants in China sometimes may be too busy. Maybe it's not important enough for them to help. Well, Augmentum, we are a small company. We love to be able to make some contribution to help those small, medium enterprises in China that needs help to cross the digital transformation chasm. So we're doing what we can ourselves. But we love to have a chance. For example, with help like you, to be able to connect with more and more potential enterprises in China that I may need, my team may need to go in there, understand and work with them. Maybe we can help them in a win-win style,
This is a gorgeous vision. Thank you so much, Leonard. So guys, to those of you that are representing small to medium-sized businesses or even big giants like Unilever. If you're going through digital transformation, specifically in China, do contact Augmentum. I've heard phenomenal things from a variety of people, and a good friend of mine connected me with Leonard to, have this discussion. Definitely a person that knows what is digital transformation all about, has been working in this area for the past, on official sources say 40 years, but right now Leonard disclosed, so it may be closer to 60 years indeed. The team behind it is essentially on the ground, looking into your specific area, where you want to digitalize, where you want to, get a step closer to your envisioned future and essentially get you there. I would also like to mention that this is not a sponsored post, and otherwise it sounds like advertising, right? So this is not a sponsored post. This is purely my recommendation for you guys working in China to really get connected with professionals and get a professional help. Leonard, as a closing question, I would like to ask, what are your biggest lessons on this journey of managing, building innovative computing technology in the past 40, 50, 60 years? What are your biggest lessons that you would like to pass on to us?
You ask tough questions. And I appreciate that. So, in addition to dealing with different organization, people, and culture and value system, in addition to that, which we covered extensively, there are two things that I've always been challenging myself to do innovation that can provide breakthrough values. Namely, my definition of true innovation. There are two things. The first thing is people tends to be not so structured in the way they do things and they think about things. Witness the fact that used to be. When I say, okay, how do I go from here to there? Very few people can tell me logically. They can only describe certain things, landmarks and so forth. People are not very logical. So they don't structure things very logically. That's number one. Number two, the other side, the same reason, is people are emotional at its base. Most tough decisions are made based on emotional reasons, not logical reasons. So therefore, when one wants to be connected to people or to help people to connect to people, one needs to learn how to connect emotionally. Such as this session. You are tough. You ask tough questions, And I need to try to connect to your followers, your channels, without knowing actually whom I'm trying to connect to. That is tough. So those are the two things. Simply put, number one, how can you get people to explain to you what their problem is, logical? And how do you provide solutions that they think is credible, is willing to try, which is product and service. It's not just product. The second thing is, how do you communicate and to provide product and services in such a way that the companies that decides to use it, try to use it, the people who uses it emotionally feel, wow, I've never had this before. Namely, it's a chapter of memory in his experience, emotionally. So let me say that one more time, emotionally. Namely, I've been trying for 40 years. That's after the invention of SQL. SQL basically, even today, most of the big data, the data that's stored in such a way, you go and find out about that uses SQL. It's not just IBM. So ever since I invented SQL, I tell myself, I want to do another one, which addresses unstructured things, and they can provide a emotional experience unmatched. So I've been trying to do that for 50 years. I'm very thankful that there are many technologies, products, usage, journeys that has happened in the last 50 years. Time has come, I believe, I will be able to do something along those lines that I'll be very proud of. So this is a pre-announcement.
Something is to come. Oh, Leonard, it was absolutely phenomenal. I would like to once again thank you for this very deep, very wise, very to the point chat as well. And again, the things that we can learn from this journey are the fact that, well, people are not very logical. And whenever we are trying to help them, we really need to find and look deep in the root of it and connect emotionally, because end of the day, only through emotion, actions and our world is built and realized. So it's all about that. Leonard, thank you so much for spending your hour with me today. It was a total delight. Guys, do connect with Leonard online. If you would like to speak with his team on digital transformation in China, do check out their website, which is augmentum.com, and they also have a .cn extension. Thank you. It was absolutely awesome. And guys, stay tuned for more China experts to come. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, and we're going to chat again real soon.